A well-trained and experienced sniper is an exceptionally efficient fighter compared to the average infantry soldier. In World War II, it took an average of 25,000 rounds to kill a single enemy soldier, a number that has been rising ever since. By the Korean War, it had doubled to 50,000. During Vietnam, with the introduction of select-fire M14 and M16 rifles, the average increased to 200,000 rounds per enemy. Today, nearly 250,000 rounds are needed to kill one enemy in Afghanistan. In contrast, the average sniper needs only 1.3 bullets to kill an enemy. Nowadays, snipers are seen as an essential part of any modern infantry force, though this wasn't always the case. It took time for their efficiency and combat effectiveness to be recognized. As World War II progressed, long-range engagements became crucial, prompting nations to develop sniper rifles capable of hitting distant targets. These rifles were issued to sniper units that carried out covert missions, taking down high-value targets and hindering enemy advances. These rifles and their users have left a lasting impact on modern warfare, enabling strategic maneuvers and significantly stressing enemy ranks through their long-range precision. One definition of a sniper rifle is a precision rifle used to ensure more accurate placement of bullets at longer ranges than other small arms. The term sniper comes from the snipe bird, known for its erratic flight path, making it difficult to shoot. Military snipers emerged at the turn of the 18th century. At the onset of World War II, snipers were recognized as valuable assets, leading many countries to create specialized units. During Germany's 1940 campaigns, hidden French and British snipers could significantly delay the German advance. For instance, during the pursuit to Dunkirk, British snipers managed to slow down the German infantry's progress. This led the British to enhance their sniper training programs, focusing on marksmanship and camouflage. However, limiting sniper training to officers and non-commissioned officers reduced the number of trained snipers, impacting overall effectiveness. The German army maintained sniping as a specialization between the wars, but lacked enthusiasm for it. In the early campaigns in Poland and the West, rapid German advances left little opportunity for snipers to prove their worth. It wasn't until the campaign against the Soviet Union, after Soviet snipers had shown their effectiveness, that the German army recognized their value. The British army had neglected sniping skills developed earlier. In 1942, sniping instructor Lieutenant Colonel N.A.D. Armstrong noted the prevailing attitude between the wars. There appeared to be a tendency among army musketrymen to scorn the sniper. They held that sniping was only a phenomenon of trench warfare and would be unlikely to occur again. Although training manuals still covered sniping, little was done at the battalion level to maintain and encourage it until the retraining programs following the evacuation of the British Expeditionary Force from Dunkirk. Nonetheless, British snipers were active in Norway and France in 1940. During the first 2 years of the war, the Soviets were mostly on the defensive, except for localized counterattacks. Snipers were deployed ahead of main defensive positions to engage reconnaissance patrols, artillery observation officers, and delay enemy movements. Soviet snipers proved their worth during the Battle of Stalingrad, where the city's ruins provided excellent conditions for their operations. Snipers operated ahead of their own lines, often isolated for days despite being only a few hundred yards from their comrades. By day, they remained motionless, ensuring all the infantry soldiers' discomforts, often exacerbated by their specialized role. They endured hunger, thirst, and were sometimes forced to urinate and defecate in place to avoid detection. During the Battle of Stalingrad, top Soviet snipers gained prominence. The city's rubble-filled defensive position allowed Soviet snipers to inflict significant casualties on the Wehrmacht. The difficulty in spotting snipers in the city debris severely impacted German morale. The most renowned of these snipers was likely Vasily Zaytsev, immortalized in the novel War of the Rats and the film Enemy at the Gates. Zaytsev, a former hunter in the Urals and a noted sniper before the battle, claimed over 100 kills between August and October 1942. He established a sniper school, providing a 2-day course for students before sending them into the ruined city to hunt Germans. Zaytsev became a celebrity, his fame in Soviet newspapers prompting the Germans to send the chief instructor of their sniper school at Zossen near Berlin to counter him. A personal contest ensued. When several top Soviet snipers were killed by a rifle with a telescopic sight, Zaytsev knew he faced a Nazi super sniper. With his spotter, Nikolai Kulikov, he roamed the city for days until discovering a trap set for a Soviet sniper. Zaytsev recalled, between the tank and the pillbox, on a stretch of level ground, lay a sheet of metal and a small pile of broken bricks. It had been there a long time, and we had grown accustomed to it. I put myself in the enemy's position and thought, where better for a sniper? One only needed to make a firing slit in the sheet of metal and creep up to it during the night. Zaytsev was convinced and carefully raised a false target, which the German promptly shot through the middle. Now came the question of luring even a part of his head into my sights. We worked by night and were in position by dawn. The sun rose. Kulikov took a blind shot. We had to rouse the sniper's curiosity. We decided to wait through the morning, as the sun on our telescopic sights might have given us away. After lunch, our rifles were in the shade, and the sun shone on the German's position. Kulikov, with the utmost care, began to raise his helmet. The German fired. For a fraction of a second, Kulikov rose and screamed. The German believed he had finally killed the Soviet sniper he had been hunting for 4 days, and half raised his head from beneath the sheet of metal. That was what I had been banking on. I took careful aim. The German's head fell back, and the telescopic sight of his rifle lay motionless, glittering in the sun. The Red Army and the Germans stationed professional snipers throughout Stalingrad. The Soviets eventually won the battle, partially due to the highly trained snipers. Despite the widespread use of snipers, most countries did not develop specialized rifles, instead modifying standard-issue rifles with optic sights. Many sniper rifles in World War II were improved versions of those used in World War I. During the Winter War, Finnish snipers inflicted heavy losses on the Soviet army. Simo Hauha, with 505 confirmed kills, used the Finnish version of the iron-sighted bolt-action Mosin Nagant. German Scharfschützen were prepared before the war with Karabiner 98 and later Gewehr 43 rifles, though there were often shortages, leading some to use captured scoped Mosin Nagant 1891-30 SVT or Czech Mauser rifles. The Wehrmacht re-established sniper training in 1942, significantly increasing the number of snipers per unit, with the creation of 31 sniper training companies by 1944. German snipers were the only ones issued with purpose-manufactured sniping ammunition, known as the effect-firing SS round. This round had a carefully measured propellant charge and a 12.8-gram full-metal jacketed boat-tail projectile of match-grade quality, enhancing its ballistic coefficient. German snipers used Zeiss Zielfire 4X ZF-39 telescopic sights, which featured bullet drop compensation for ranges from 100 meters to 800 meters, or in some variations up to 1,000 meters or 1,200 meters. Other telescopic sights used included the ZF-42, Zielfernrohr 43, ZF-4, Zeiss Zielzek 6X, and optics from Ajak, Hensoldt, and Carlers. Various mounting systems were employed to attach these sights to rifles. In February 1945, the Zielgerät 1229 active infrared aiming device was issued for night sniping with the STG-44 assault rifle. The Red Army trained 428,335 individuals in sniping, including Soviet and non-Soviet partisans, with 9,534 achieving higher qualification. In 1942 alone, nearly 55,000 female snipers were trained. On average, there was at least one sniper per infantry and reconnaissance platoon, including in tank and artillery units. Some used the PTRD anti-tank rifle with an adapted scope, an early example of an anti-material rifle. In the United States Armed Forces, sniper training was basic, focusing on hitting targets at long distances. Snipers were required to hit a body at 400 meters and a head at 200 meters, with little emphasis on blending into the environment. Training varied widely, resulting in inconsistent sniper quality. The US limited training beyond long-range shooting due to their restricted deployment until the Normandy invasion. In North Africa and Italy, most fighting occurred in arid and mountainous regions with limited concealment opportunities, unlike in Western and Central Europe. The US Army's unfamiliarity with sniping tactics led to disastrous outcomes in Normandy and the Western Europe campaign, where they faced well-trained German snipers. In Normandy, German snipers concealed themselves in dense vegetation, enabling them to encircle American units and fire from multiple directions. The American and British forces were taken aback by how close the German snipers could approach and by their ability to hit targets up to 1,000 meters away. A significant mistake made by inexperienced American soldiers was to lie down and wait when targeted, allowing snipers to pick them off sequentially. German snipers often infiltrated Allied lines, and even when front lines shifted, they would continue fighting from their sniping positions, refusing to surrender until their supplies were depleted. These tactics were partly due to changes in German recruitment. After heavy losses on the Eastern Front, the German army increasingly relied on teenage soldiers. Due to insufficient training in complex group tactics, but thorough rifle training from the Hitler Youth, these young soldiers were often used as autonomous snipers left behind. Unlike experienced snipers who would take a few lethal shots and retreat, these boys, due to a disregard for their own safety and lack of tactical experience, would continue fighting until they ran out of ammunition or were killed. This earned them the nickname Suicide Boys. Despite the high human cost, their irrational behavior was disruptive to Allied forces' progress. After World War II, many elements of German sniper training and doctrine were adopted by other countries. In the Pacific War, the Empire of Japan trained snipers to be a serious threat to US, British, Canadian, and Australian troops. Japanese snipers expertly used the environment for concealment, employing foliage on their uniforms and creating well-camouflaged hideouts connected by small trenches. Given the close-range nature of jungle combat, long-range accuracy was less critical. Japanese snipers were renowned for their patience, often remaining hidden for extended periods and only revealing their position after firing multiple shots. The Allies, particularly the US Marines, also deployed snipers in the Pacific, using M1403 Springfield rifles. Used by British and Commonwealth forces, the Lee Enfield No. 4 was lighter and more reliable than its World War I predecessor and featured a spiked bayonet. The M1903 Springfield started as a standard issue rifle but was modified for sniper use, including the addition of telescopic sights. Known for its accuracy and reliability, it was the preferred weapon for American snipers and is considered the most accurate of the modified rifles from the conflict. The Mosin Nagant, used by both the Soviets and the Finnish, was based on an earlier version from 1891. Despite often being considered inferior to British or American rifles, it was accurate and thus widely used. Like other standard-issue firearms, it was modified with better sights to enhance its effectiveness as a sniper rifle. The Japanese Arisaka Type 97, introduced in 1937, was based on the Type 38 rifle from 1905. Chambered in 6.5 by 50mm, it had very light recoil and low muzzle blast, making it a good platform for a sniper rifle. Its 31-inch barrel allowed the mild cartridge's powder to burn completely, reducing flash and smoke and making counter-sniping difficult. The Soviet Union placed significant emphasis on sniper training, which is reflected in the prominence of Soviet snipers among the top snipers of World War II. Unlike many other countries, which reduced their focus on snipers, the Soviet Union increased its training efforts even before the war. This included allowing both men and women to enlist as snipers. A specialized school near Moscow trained female snipers who were physically fit, had at least 7 years of education, and were between the ages of 18 and 26. Approximately 2,000 female snipers enlisted after the German invasion of the Soviet Union, but only 500 survived the war. One of the most successful female snipers in history, Lyudmila Pavlichenko, known as Lady Death, achieved 309 confirmed kills. She rose to the rank of lieutenant, but was withdrawn from the front lines after being hit by shrapnel. Considered too valuable to return to combat, she was sent on a speaking tour of Allied nations and later trained other snipers upon her return to the Soviet Union. Among the most famous Soviet snipers, Vasily Zaytsev was assigned to the 1047th Rifle Regiment of the 284th Tomsk Rifle Division. During the Battle of Stalingrad, he reportedly killed 40 German soldiers in his first 10 days. Zaytsev is best known for allegedly killing top German sniper Erwin Koenig, a story that has been met with skepticism due to the lack of records confirming Koenig's existence. Simo Hauha, a Finnish sniper, holds the record for the most confirmed kills. He achieved 505 confirmed kills during the Winter War, primarily using a Finnish version of the iron-sighted Mosin Nagant. Hauha's extraordinary marksmanship and ability to remain hidden made him a legendary figure in sniper history. Simo Hauha, who worked as a farmer before his military service, earned the title of the deadliest sniper in history. Credited with over 500 kills, this extraordinary tally earned him the nickname White Death. Hauha preferred to operate independently, often setting up in a snowbank with enough food and supplies to sustain him during his duty. He notably chose to use the iron sights on his rifle rather than a telescopic lens, believing his aim was more precise with iron sights. Additionally, he avoided using the telescopic lens to prevent the sun from reflecting off it and revealing his position.